or those last couple of bars in a blues chord progression, whether it's an 8 or a 12 bar blues, is this important moment in the tune where you want to be ready with something cool to play. And in a previous lesson, I did a roundup of 10 essential turnarounds. But if you're looking for something a little different to play and a way to change up what happens in the turnaround, I want to show you an idea today that I've been messing around with in my own playing and also have been using for some of the arrangements in my membership, the Fingerstyle 5, where I teach people how to play tunes and turn those tunes into complete songs, start to improvise. You can find more out at the link below or the link on screen. But right now, I want to show you this idea of playing blues licks in the last 2 bars of the form and playing those licks in octaves. So the origin of this idea for me lies in an exercise I was given by my guitar teacher that I had in high school, an amazing musician and teacher named Jeff Wyman. And he gave me this exercise when I got interested in fingerstyle guitar. And the idea was to, I think, practice using your index finger for the 1st fret, middle finger for the 2nd fret, ring finger for the 3rd fret, and pinky for the 4th fret. I think I said that right. Anyway, the exercise was really hard and I had to really work on it, and I think I can still play it. So it looked kind of like this. The idea was to play octaves and keep changing fingers and use open strings when you could. And then come back down. That's the idea. We're not going to actually do that. We're just going to play with an E blues scale. Right. So the only difference between the E blues scale and the E minor pentatonic scale is the addition of the flat 5, right? So minor pentatonic is root, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and root. And then the the blues scale adds, we got root, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 7, and root. So we're going to take the blues scale and play it in octaves like this. So once we have that, then we can use it to play some riffs and use those riffs in place of the typical turnaround, playing some 2-bar riffs instead of playing, you know, like... which is also totally cool and a good thing to know and something I use all the time. But this is just kind of a cool alternative that sounds a little different but still has the same function. So what you're going to do is start off by playing this E blues scale with your thumb and then add in the octaves playing with your index, middle, and ring finger on the upper strings. So for the low E, we've got an E here at the 2nd fret on the 4th string. And then for the G, we've got 3rd fret on the low string. You're going to match that with open 3rd string. And then for A, you've got the open A string, and then 2nd fret on the 3rd string. And then for B flat, 1st fret on the 5th string, 3rd fret on the 3rd string. And then for B, 2nd fret on the 5th string, open 2nd string. For D, open 4th string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then for E again, 4th fret on the 4th string, open high string. So, and then of course back down 2. So there's your scale in octaves, and then the idea is, what are we going to do with that? And the idea is, on a blues, let's say you're playing a 12-bar blues in E, you'd start that 3rd line, B7 for a bar, A7 for a bar, and then usually those last 2 bars, that's where your traditional turnaround would happen. But here we're going to play a blues riff in octaves instead. So... takes up those 2 bars. And it can be more or less syncopated, but you can start with something that's fairly on the beat and then work on moving it around and making it sound a little hipper depending on how you syncopate it or push it off of the strong beats. So if we start out like that, we have and that's playing almost entirely on the beats. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can start by just playing the bass part of it, just the thumb part. To learn where the notes are and how it's grooving, right? And then you can add in the fingers. One thing that can help is that idea of, well, whatever fret you're at, that's going to be a specific finger. So first fret notes are going to be with the index finger, second fret notes with the middle finger, third fret notes with the ring finger. Here, I'm cheating a little bit using my pinky for the third fret. But that helps to keep it sort of organized. Now, to make this lick really work and sit in the groove, it would help to syncopate a couple of notes in the lick. And all syncopating means is taking a note or a couple of notes that are on strong beats, like the 1, 2, 3, or 4, and either pushing them out so they happen a little later or moving them up so they happen a little sooner. So if we have this, most of those notes are on the strong beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's start by doing this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And instead of playing this on 1, let's move it up so it lands on the and of 4 right after this note. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So instead of waiting, we're going to bring it up a little bit, anticipate the next measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then let's take the note that happens right after that, the E. What's supposed to happen is 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So this E was originally landing on beat 2 of the second measure of the lick. And we've already moved up the note right before it. So now we're going to have, if we syncopate that E, bring it up a little sooner. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're landing on and 4 and like that for the B. And then 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And just with those two syncopations, we now have this. Which sounds a lot more syncopated, has a lot more momentum, and pushes you towards the end of the lick and the beginning of the next chorus. So if we're coming out of the 5 chord, so I did kind of, it's the shortened version of the blues, right? But that's the idea, that you can have this lick that drops in place of the turnaround. It does the same thing. It puts the same kind of punctuation on the chorus in the exact same spot, but it doesn't sound like the typical turnaround. So that's the idea, along with one specific way to take that idea and turn it into a specific turnaround for the blues in E. Obviously, once you have these fingerings and this idea of playing blues licks in octaves, you could apply it to other licks you already know or other licks that you make up, and that'll give you an endless number of ways to play through the turnaround for the blues. So I hope you have fun working on this idea. If you've got a comment or a question about the lesson, please leave it down below. I would love to hear from you. If you're a blues guitar player interested in a more organized, ongoing way to learn new tunes, turn those tunes into complete songs, and start to improvise on them, I encourage you to check out my membership, the Fingerstyle 5, which you can find out more about at the link below or the link on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.